Okay, good afternoon. Hey, let's get live on IG. How is everyone doing out there today? We are live on IG. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. How are you guys doing? Elaine Proby here, CEO PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. And one of my favorite subjects we're going to discuss today, right? This is about documents you need to file your taxes, because we want to get this right. We want to make sure we have accurate returns. We want to make sure our refunds are as large as they could be. We don't want to leave any money on the table. So it's important that we get all the right stuff to make sure this happens. So we want to go over that stuff today. So this is one of my favorite topics. All right, it's about getting information so we can make sure this is right. You can get all the money that they have taken from you back, and or pay less money if you hadn't paid anything in. So we don't want to leave nothing out there, right? So we want to make sure that you guys have everything you need to file your taxes accurately, no matter whether it's just one W-2, if you had one job or whatever that is, if you have a business, rental property, whatever those things are. We're going to go over some of the things that's going to be needed so you guys can make sure that you get this right. You can start collecting this data right now. Some stuff you could just go online and pull, but at least if you know what that list is, if you know the things that you're gonna need, you can make sure that you have most of that stuff ready, and or look to make sure you can get them offline from whoever you have to get these things from. Okay, so we're gonna talk about what those are so you can get your taxes filed accurately, guys. Thanks for jumping on here. Hit like and share on this video. Share this video. Get all of your friends and family on board. Share this video. Very, very, very important. Most of us have a filing requirement, okay? Most of us have a filing requirement. A lot of times, even if you hadn't worked, you have a filing requirement. Some of us do, based on the income that you receive from different places. Even if you did not have a job, you do have, or you may have, a filing requirement. So this is also very important to every one of you guys out there who has to file a tax return. All right, so let's just jump in here. Make sure that you hit like and share on this video. Share, 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 share. Everybody needs this information. We do not want to pay any more taxes than we have to. That's why we're having these conversations. And today's information is more than I can express how important these are. Okay, so we want to make sure that you got everything you need and know where you can get information if you don't have them. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump right in here, Margie. Good afternoon. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Hit like and share on this video, guys. Hit like and share on this video. All the folks over here on IG, you guys hit like and share. Okay, so here we go. First one we want to talk about today. Now, you guys know, first of all, you got to have all of your pertinent data. Make sure that your information is correct. One of the things a lot of people tend to forget if they happen to move, and I need to emphasize this, a lot of folks tend to forget that they may have moved. It may have happened earlier on in the year. You may have moved. And one of the things that we want to make sure is that you update your personal information correctly. Okay, make sure you update your personal information. If it's a new address, if it's a new bank account, whatever that is, make sure you have that. If you have a new dependent, if you just got married or divorced, your personal data is one of the things that we must make sure is correct. For starters, a lot of times people tend to forget those most important things. You tend to forget those things, right, on your personal side. So if you have a new address, new bank account, new dependents, anything like that, if you've been married or divorced or whatever your situation is, make sure that you have that first and foremost. Get that stuff in line. We need social security numbers and date of birth and all the folks that you have to put on your tax return. So I just want to start with that and your personal data. So we want to just start with that for now, because that's the first thing we need to get the tax return going. Okay, so that's what I want to make sure we get updated for the people who have been filing taxes for years. And a lot of time we have a tendency to forget things like that. We moved. And we get that a lot. People call back and say, I have a new address and the IRS have the wrong information, or my bank account changed. I forgot to tell you. So let's just get that straight, okay? Make a note of that, guys. Make a note of that. So let's get into the documents that we need. First of all, number one, we want to discuss our income information. First of all, you have a filing requirement based on your income. Okay, so there is a filing requirement if you hadn't made any money at all. Sometimes if you're on fixed income, let's say your Social Security, you don't have a filing requirement, so you're perfectly fine. There's a lot of income that you may not have to file on, disability income. If that's the only thing you get, you don't have to worry about filing any taxes. So there are some situations where even though you have gotten money from different places, you may not have a filing requirement. For the people who have a filing requirement, guys, these are the things that you need for your income. First and foremost, W-2s. A W-2 is if you work for an employer, you work for someone who have paid you and take out taxes. A lot of folks, a lot of you guys have several W-2s, especially the people in the industry. They may have 15 W-2s, they could have 10, they could have any number of W-2s. Make sure that you recall who you work for, guys, and that you gather all the W-2s from the various employers who you have worked for. Again, like I said, for folks that are in the industry, entertainment industry, stuff like that, they have several W-2s, and make sure you get all of those W-2s. I want to remind you that the IRS do get a transcript of the W-2s. They do know where you work. They do know how many people have paid you. So you do not want to miss any of this information, because you will get a letter stating that you have filed your taxes incorrectly. You have incorrectly stated your income. And then, of course, you have to go back and amend it or do something different. So W-2s, make sure you get all the W-2s from everyone that you have worked for last year. Make a note of that and make sure you get all those W-2s. If you guys had gotten any type of unemployment, there's a form 1099-G that is showing you how much unemployment money you have gotten for the year. And if you had any taxes taken out of it, that 1099-G will show you the taxes that were taken out. So you need to have that information to file, okay? You need to have that information to file. Once again, if you omit any of these things, it's going to create a situation where the IRS is going to say you have incorrectly reported income, right? We don't want one of those letters, or you do not want one of those letters. I want to make sure we get everything. And if you have if you're a partnership, a partner in a partnership or an LLC or S corporation, guys, any type of business like that, if you are involved with any of those things, make sure that you wait to get your K-1, which is the form that is given to you from the partnership or the LLC or the S corporation, a form K-1. And this form is going to show what income you have made from that business, or if there was any loss in that business, it will show that amount of money. So you need to have that to file your tax return. So you should know if you're involved in any type of business like that. If you need to get a K-1 from one of those business, make sure that you call them and say, look, can you please get me my K-1, or wait for them to actually mail it out to you or download it, however you have to get that info. Make sure you get that. If you have any rental property, guys, and you have rent your property to, let's say, a government assisted, like a state program, Section 8 or something like that, where there's certain state or cities, county or city that pays you rent, they always mail you out a form. They always mail you out a 1099 form showing the rental income paid to you. You don't want to get this wrong, so wait for that 1099 that's mailed to you from the county or the city that paid you rent on behalf of a tenant. Okay, so you want to make sure you have that information before you file. And for those of you who have gotten retirement income, right? And this is the one, a lot of folks, I've known people who thought that they shouldn't file taxes on their retirement income, right? And I've had clients who have came in years later and haven't filed 2 or 3 years of taxes because they only received their retirement income, and they said that someone told them they don't have to file taxes. So your retirement income, guys, is taxable income. You must file taxes on that stuff. So look for a 1099-R that will show how much money you have gotten from your retirement. Got to have that information. If you got Social Security and you have other income where your Social Security is taxable, there's a 1099 SSA form that the Social Security office sends out, and it shows you how much Social Security is paid to you. And of course, if there was any tax withholding, because you can have taxes withheld from Social Security. If there's any tax withholding that you took out of your Social Security income, that will be on that form as well. Okay, so those are some of the most common income forms that you need to have. There's other stuff like interest income, dividend income, investment income, things like that as well. But these are some of the most common that most people will have. So I want you guys to make sure that you put this stuff together, make a list, come back through here, make that list, and make sure that you have collected all those documents to get your taxes filed accurately, right? Income is so important because that's the one the government has a list of. They, for the most part, they know what that money is that you have received, and you do not want to understate that, okay? You don't want to understate that because it will create a problem on your taxes. Very, very important, all right? So guys, so that's the list of income that we are going to talk about. Like I said, there's other types of income that you may have, investment like dividend and investment income and sales of stocks and different things. We are going to stick to some of the most common one here. If you have any of those, of course, make sure that you have included every type of income that you have received for 2021 to get your taxes done, right? So that's the first point today, guys. Hit like and share this income. I mean, on this live. Hi, Cognac. Thanks for jumping in here. You guys share this live and get your friends on board. Okay, so we are going to move right along into this is one of my favorite expenses. So we talked about income, and I love the expense part. I love the part that's going to reduce that income so your taxes gets reduced. So this is like my favorite part. So guys, let's start. If you are operating a business, right? Self-employed business or any type of entity, LLCs, whatever that is. He said, thank you so much. You're welcome, Cognac. All right, so if you're operating a business, most importantly, this is what we want to do. Expenses, all right? Expenses. Most of all, we want to make sure that we get all of our expenses in order. We want to write off everything that we can. We want to reduce our taxable income as much as we can so we pay as little tax as possible. And any taxes paid in, we want to get that money back, right? If we can get it all back, we want to get it all back. If we have to pay no money, like some of the major corporations who pays little or no money and they make billions of dollars, right? We just love the sound of that. So, you know, we want to make sure that we can take advantage of everything that we are entitled to. So if you're operating a business, guys, make sure that you pull all of your documents, your credit card, your bank statements, wherever that information is, and make sure that you have an itemized list of your business related expenses. Okay, make sure, because you want to offset that income. Somebody give you a 1099 for $30,000, you want to make sure that you can write off as much of that as possible. If you didn't make any money, you have a loss, you want to find $35,000 worth of receipts, so over $30,000. So your expenses that you can write off, and I'll just give you a list of some idea of some of those expenses, guys, that are very common, and we have all have to use them at some point just to make sure that our business operates properly. And I know you guys have advertising expenses. Let's say your automobile expenses, you know, you may have paid someone commissions for working for you. You have those expenses as well. So think about everything that you paid out in order to make the money, in order to operate your business. Every money that you paid us, you want to be able to write off. These are the business related expenses that's going to reduce that income, right? So if you paid someone for outside services, any type of repairs, maintenance, any type of supplies, your office expenses, your computer expenses, your software, all this stuff is a deduction, right? If you had to travel for your business. And then based on the type of business that you're in, some of these expenses are totally different. Like if you happen to wear a uniform, if you're in the entertainment industry, a lot of the mixers, a lot of your grooming, a lot of your, you know, classes and different things that you have to do as well is a deductible expense, guys. Make sure that you know, depending on the industry, there are different type of industry related expenses that you can take. So make sure you track all this stuff, right? What we're doing here is we are reducing our taxable income with all of these expenses. If we can write it all off, then we want to write it all off. And so we have no taxes to pay. This is what we're doing, right? So if you have a business, those are business related expenses. If you have a rental property, guys, if you have a rental property, and like I mentioned earlier, there's rental income that will probably show up on a 1099. Let's say if this was a county or a city, assisted rent, like a Section 8, for instance, here in California, there is income reported. So you want to make sure you write off your expenses for your rental property, advertising, cleaning, maintenance on on your rental property. If you have a gardener, if you had any type of repairs, and most people with a rental property have a lot of repairs for the most part. Any type of repairs, you get to write that off, guys. Any type of legal assistance, you get to write that off. If your property is, let's say, it's not directly in the city that you're in, and you're having to drive to your rental property, then you get to write off your mileage. You get to write off travel expenses. If it's out of state and you have to fly to that property, you get to write off those travel expenses. Okay, so management fees, if someone is managing the property for you, whatever you pay them to manage the property, those folks get paid. You write that off. So there's so much that you can write off. As long as you're tracking this stuff, make sure that you know what this is so you can offset the income, because of course you incur these expenses, and a lot of people lose out on their tax dollars, right? Because they don't track the stuff, and they don't even remember. They don't even remember that they replaced that pipe somewhere in the rental property. And I have a lot of times having to sit with a client and having to ask them all these questions, what they did to the property, if they had any major repairs, anything, then all of a sudden they'll remember that they had to replace the carpet, or they had to replace a lock, or they had to do something, guys. So track the stuff and make sure that you know what it is, so you can write it off. You don't want to pay any extra dollars in taxes. We don't want to do that. Hey, over here on IG, thanks for jumping on. Okay, so this is what we're doing today, writing off all of our deductions so we can reduce our taxable income. So that's it for the expenses, guys. There's plenty more expenses based on the industry that you're in for your business. There's a lot of expenses that's different, okay, from other people. If you're in entertainment or you're in trucking, whatever that is, there's different expenses for those industries. So make sure that you know what those are. If you have any problems, you can get with us and give us a call and check out what those are that you can write off. Okay, so let's move right on to the third point today. And the third point today is your deductions, right? So tax deductions. Now, for some of you who are still itemizing because you do have, say, a personal residence, which usually give you most of your deductions, if you do have tax deductions to write off, which generally would be medical expenses, like your medical premium, your mortgage interest and property taxes, stuff like that, which is on an itemized deduction, which is your Schedule A form. And you will have, for instance, a tax statement from the mortgage company, a 1099, 1098 form from your mortgage company, guys. Make sure that you get that form to know how much interest was paid, how much property taxes. And one of the things that I find a lot of clients is always forgetting, sometimes you refinance your property throughout the year, and some people forget that this happens. We get this all the time. They forget that they refinance. So they should be expecting two of those 1098 mortgage statements from two different lenders. We've got clients who show up with one of those, and their mortgage interest is so much lower than it has been in the past. And then this is when we ask questions and come to find out that they had a refinance going on. They have another form 1098 that they need to get. Okay, so make sure that you remember these things, guys. We're just here to remind you that it's very important. Your mortgage interest statement or statements, if you had two different lenders in the year, and any type of IRA contributions that you made, which will reduce your taxable income. Okay, IRA contribution, reduce your taxable income. That's one of the things I want to remind you guys, because I had a client that told me they was making contribution to their IRA for the last few years, and I never heard of it. So it's not on their taxes. All right, so again, if you made any IRA contributions, guys, it reduces the regular IRA contribution, not the Roth. It reduces your taxable income. So you want to be able to do that as well. Let us know what that contribution is to reduce your taxable income. Okay. So those are some of the deductions I wanted to discuss on this part, reducing your taxable income. Another deduction I just want to mention real quick that is important as well. If you had student loan interest and or if you paid tuition. If If you pay tuition, there's a Form 1098-T that you should be getting from the school. A lot of times folks are trying to do their taxes. They said they went to school, but they never have this Form 1098-T. Make sure you do have that as well so that you can take advantage of the credits. All right. And or if you paid for a student loan. All right. So that's what we need, guys. That is my number 3 point. And finally, last point here today, very, very, very important. This right here is super important. That's going to be the IRS notification forms, right? Now, this year, the IRS is trying to be more efficient on letting you guys know what have been paid to you for your stimulus checks. They are trying to be more efficient on what has been sent out to you for the advanced child tax credit. So the IRS notification, Sharice, let me get that on the bottom. The IRS notification forms is what we need to look out for. All right. So there is a form 1444 that the IRS mailed out, which will show you the first payment that was paid in 2020 for those people who still need to file 20 tax returns. There's another 1444B, which is the second stimulus payment that they sent out to you. So there's a form that they sent out so you could know how much that is. And then the 1444C, which is the third stimulus. That one you got in 2021. Okay. That form will tell you how much you have gotten for the stimulus from the IRS. Importantly, we got to put this on the tax return again. The IRS, it happens that they send out so many letters to folks saying your tax return is wrong because they put the wrong amount of stimulus on the taxes. 2020, if you didn't get any stimulus, then you would get it on your refund. A lot of folks have that wrong. They said they didn't get any money. We put on there that they got no money on there. The IRS sent them a letter saying your taxes is wrong, and they're looking at us like, oh, you did my taxes wrong. Well, it's simply because they had the wrong amount of stimulus payment on there, right? The wrong amount of stimulus payment. So now there is a form the IRS is sending out. Look out for that form. If you haven't received it, this is another way you can get it. You can go on the IRS website, create an account, and you can go in there and it will show you how much money you got for the stimulus checks that you should have received, that they should have mailed out to you. Even if you never received it and for some reason they don't know that you haven't gotten it, but it will show up on your record that you did get that money. So if you haven't gotten any of these forms, guys, you could go to the IRS website, create an account, and you can go in there and it will show you how much money they sent you for your stimulus 1 and 2 if you're filing 20, and then stimulus 3 if you're filing just the 2021 tax return. Okay, so that's on the stimulus. Now, if for those of you who've gotten the advanced child tax credit, we had a conversation about that where they're sending out those tax credit. They sent checks out last year, $250 or $300, depending on your dependents and their age. They sent that out from July to December. So if you've got any of those deposits on a monthly basis, you need to know how much that is because that information has to be in your taxes. So look out for that form as well. Or if you did not get that form, guys, go to the IRS website, go to the advanced child tax credit, or create your account and go in there and see how much tax credit you've gotten for those kids, because you must have that number on your taxes. Once again, very important. All this stuff is important because anything here that is wrong, one, it can cost you more taxes than you need to pay, reduce your refund, which we don't want to have done, right? And or get a letter from the IRS stating that you filed your taxes wrong, you report your income incorrectly, and or you claim the wrong amount of child tax credit or stimulus check. And then what happens is we've got to go back in and amend your tax return. Okay, so no one wants to get a letter from the IRS. Or it will hold up your refund, guys. It will hold up your refund if any of this information is incorrect, right? So nobody wants an IRS letter, no matter what it says. They don't want an IRS letter. All right, so that's my points today, guys. Very important information. Very, very, very important. Everybody should have this stuff, and everyone needs to make sure they get this right. So you guys make sure that you share this information. So once again, today we're talking about the documents you need to get your taxes filed correctly. And I'm just going to go over these points real quick. You guys come back on here and make a checklist of this information. And I think, according to, I think, Sharice, we should have a copy of this checklist on the website for them to be able to download as well. Okay, so The first one is your income information. Make sure that everybody that paid you money that is taxable, you have all those forms, W-2s, 1099s, everything that was paid out to you. Second point today is expenses. Business related expenses. We want to write off everything we could to offset the income. You have rental income property. We want to make sure we write off all those expenses that rental income property, so we don't pay taxes on any income that we don't have to pay taxes on, right? The third point today is your deductions, itemized deductions, guys. Most importantly, I think the mortgage interest statement is where a lot of people go wrong. And then I think I missed the charitable donations too. If you have the charitable donations and you're itemizing cash or non-cash, you can get to write off. So cash or non-cash donations, we want to be able to write that off. Medical expenses, things like that. Of course, that's on your itemized deduction statement. And lastly, the IRS notification. Very importantly, you must know what you got for your stimulus checks. Everybody gets this wrong. And we must know now, this is all brand new, that advanced child tax credit. This is going to be crazy. This is a major one. And a lot of people might get this wrong. So we want to make sure that we could go in and get that form. Go to the IRS website. If you have to, create an account and make sure you get this right. Okay, so all of this stuff, if you get it right off the top, it will not delay your refund, and it will make sure that you get all of the money that is entitled to you. And then the last thing is you don't want any IRS notification, right? You don't want any IRS letters. No one likes to see those letters, so we want to avoid all that, all right? So that is it for me today. Again, it sounds like a whole lot. Make some notes of this. Come back through here. Check this list out. Make sure that you get this. There are no download available on the website at this time. So you got to come back to this video and check out this list so you could know what exactly you would need. Okay, so let your friends know. Thanks for jumping on here on IG. So let your friends know that they could come back to this video, check it all out, and get everything they need to get their taxes right. Because we want to get all the money that as much as we can. We don't want to leave anything on the table, right? Okay, guys, so that's it for me today. I think I covered it all. Thank you guys for jumping on here. Just remember that we're here every Tuesday and Thursday. Great information, so you guys can make sure that you get this right. You want to hold on to all the money you make. Hey, how are you? Thanks for waving. I'm over here on IG. Thank you, guys. Hey, Makiba, good afternoon. Thank you for jumping on. All right. Margie says great information and getting, let's see, getting prepared to have your return done. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Margie. Getting prepared to have your return done. We love to get people refunds. We just love that. That is a joy to make sure that you get back money and as much as you can, write off all the deductions and get back, pay as little as possible if you have to pay anything at all, right? That's what we do here at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. So guys, if you have any questions, any further information you need, check us out at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. Give us a call at 323-290-9034 or go to our secure website at probyststax.com. There is a client portal there. You can log in, create an account. You can upload all of your documents to us, get all of your taxes done, no matter where you are in the country or even outside of the country. No matter where you are, we can get your taxes done. We do all states, okay? Everything is done automatically. Everything is e-filed, electronically paid. Everything is uploaded, and we just have conversation on the phone. We can do it by Zoom, however you like, and you can get all of your questions answered, all right? All of your questions answered, all of your concerns, just give us a call here at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. All right. So with that said, I think I'm up out of here. Thank all of you guys for jumping on. Your success is our business. I love it. All right. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a fabulous weekend. And you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself.